One question that people sometimes ask me is, what do I do if I'm working on a new build project and I don't know what the ZE is going to be because the new electricity supply hasn't been installed yet? Well, there are two possible solutions to this. One thing that you could do is you could find out by inquiry. So when you're applying for the new electricity connection, what you could do is you can ask the DNO what the ZE will be, what the PFC is going to be, and also what the earthing arrangement is going to be. But what happens if you're a subcontractor working on a large new build project and you're not the person who is arranging the electricity supply? Maybe your client, the developer or the main contractor, is organising the new electricity supply and you don't have access to this information. Well, the first thing that I would say is always ask the question of your client and find out if this information is available. But if you don't have this information, what you can do is you can work on the basis of the maximum ZE for the installation. So if you know that it's likely to be a TNCS system or PME system, the maximum ZE will be 0.35 ohms. So what you can do is when carrying out your calculations for the maximum length of cable, you can use 0.35 in that equation. Now obviously that's for a PME system. Obviously if you've got a TNS system it would be 0.8. If it's a TC system you would typically use 21 ohms. So by using the maximum ZE in your calculations for maximum length of cable, that's going to help you make sure that your cables are not too long and that you don't exceed the maximum ZS for the circuit. Now, I talk in my previous videos about how to calculate the maximum length of cable for resistance and also for volt drop as well, and I'll put a link to the playlist at the top of the screen. But one thing that's really important to bear in mind is if you assume the maximum ZE for the installation, it's likely that when the new electricity supply is installed, the ZE will be much lower, especially if you're close to a local substation, for example. So the maximum ZE being 0.35 for a PME system, in reality, it could be much lower than that. And what that's going to mean is the fault current will be much higher. So it's really important that when the new supply is installed that we go ahead and we measure the ZE and the PFC to verify what they are, because this is going to be really important when we're carrying out the adiabatic equation. Now, if you need to know how to do the adiabatic equation, I talk in much more detail about that in a previous video, and I'll put a link up at the top of the screen. And if you haven't done so already, please click over here to subscribe to my channel.